in here. I'm gonna say hi to your mom. I haven't done that. I think I will be. Look at all these cameras go.
When the buyers are out, no one's safe. They draw.
Got the salad that would be the less dangerous. Yeah.
Hello, gotcha.
This is my cousin Jory and his wife Tasha. This is the first time I met them. She was a divorce, so it makes it fine. Then they had Jason died of Then they had Kaya and Monica Fairchild. Lexi Kaya and Monica. Kaya is like the prettiest. She is, you can't really tell in this picture.
So you still got the radio?
Yeah, I'm still doing that for 24 years. 25 years in February. Still doing movie theater, we opened that. Yeah, one belly up.
No, I only had 5 left in the fridge. Figure 5 sit up. No, just mom and dad and 6 kids.
You can move now.
We couldn't ask for a better mom and dad than what we had. Such wonderful, gentle people. But I do have a few little things I think about that kind of bring you a laugh or bring a memory. But of course, when we lived on the farm, and usually myself and Kenny and Donnie and Mally were on both threshing season, you know, it was always a pretty fun time. Because you know how nice those big piles of, I guess, straw got. So one day after they got done with threshing, I said to Donnie or Manly, probably both of them, I think it was Donnie and I, we were usually the two most mischievous ones that day.
It was you.
I said, let's go up and play in the straw pile. So we went out in the pasture and we just drove this stuff right down to the ground, and it was getting thrown back, and my dad would be coming home. So I said to Donnie, I said, I think we better get out of here and go find a place to hide. So we ran away from the straw pile, and we were out having a good time then when Grandpa got home, but he didn't notice it. So we had stayed hidden for a while. And like I say, good old gentle people that they were, we didn't get a spanking or get any punishment at all. So, and another thing, what did I think of? I thought of, well, I think the funniest thing that I remember is, you know, Grandma, we had a Model 8 and we on Ford.
Yep,
On
I
Ford
had
side
a
of
Model T before that.
Yeah. And of course, you know, Grandma Anderson, in those days you didn't have to have a driver's license or your cars didn't have car seats in them or any of this stuff nowadays, you know, so we dare take car. Well, on this corner from where we lived, by the farm and then by the schoolhouse where we went, there was a little gas station on the corner. Fritz's gas station. And so we used to stop there if we'd find a nickel on the road, so we used to stop and pick up candy. Well, anyway, this was during wartime, and Manly was in service at that time. And I think you were pretty much sure you were at the same time, Don?
Donnie went in the service the day I got out.
Yeah.
We met on the bus, he was getting on, I was getting off.
Anyway, of course, the only way you heard from Manly in service, you know, you'd get a letter, not very often, but
No email.
yeah, no email either. But Amy and Julie used to bring the kids out to stay once in a while. So one day after, I guess we got the laundry done and stuff, my grandma decided she needed a loaf of bread, so we were going to get in this old Model A and go down to Fritz's Corner and get some bread, whatever we needed. Well, on the way down to the station, I forgot what I was going to say. See, Grandma wanted to stop and get mail, that's what it was. So she got out, stopped the car and got out and got the mail and got overly excited because there was a letter from Manly, you know, like he says, communication then wasn't very much. Grandma got so engrossed in this letter, and Gary, I think it was Gary was a baby, was sitting on Grandma's lap. And of course, Grandma and Amy got the letter open, and Grandma's sitting there, you know, trying to read this letter.
And drive at the same time.
Yeah. So Grandma decided this was it. She drove that old Model A right down the ditch and up she come again, right like that on the other side, and that was so funny. But we didn't get hurt. We weren't buckled in our car seats, right? So, oh, I thought I had to put a little note here and something like that again. Oh yes, I was going to tell you something about Donnie and Manly. You know, we didn't have a lot of toys, anything to play with, anything to do. So Donnie had to kind of put up a little make-piece trapeze on one of the between a couple of the big branches on the tree one time, and like an old trapeze or something. Do you remember that, Don?
No.
You don't remember that? Well, I do. Because you had put it up and you were playing on it when you left one day. I don't know, go someplace. I thought, boy, there's my chance. I can go out there and get on this little trapeze and see if I can make it do well. I pulled myself up and the little twig that he had on, it would split right in two and down I went. And I thought, oh boy, now I'm going to get heck from Donnie, I suppose. So what do I do now? I thought, I got to find something to fix this thing so he won't notice it when he gets home. So I went in the house and we had a little bottle of Elmer's glue or something like that. I went out to put this glue on both sides of the stick and tried holding it together. Well, I didn't say anything to Donnie when he came home, of course, but first thing he goes out there to try his little trapeze, and well, you can imagine it happened. It didn't hold, so down he went. So, like I say, we had the best mom and dad anybody could ever wish for, so lots of good memories. So, well, even Gary and Danny too, and they were little. Well, yeah. Really? Speaking of yes. I was going to probably forget that on purpose. Did you don't notice anything particularly out of sorts with Maynard? He looks pretty normal to you. Well, the little stinker that I thought he was, you know, little kids you loved, and we lived on the farm, of course. And he was interested in all the little animals and everything, so Grandma in the house, I said, well, I'll take Danny around and show him these different animals and stuff, you know. So I had him in my arms and I bent over and then I showed Danny, you know, these things, and plop, he went right out. I dropped him just like that. So,
That explains a lot.
I thought I'd better let you know about that.
Now you tell us.
Well, let's see, I can't really think of any other thing. So,
Did you remember it? Okay.
Amen.
Good, Millie.
Okay, but you're going to get a spanking now for breaking my trapeze. Well, I can only reiterate what Millie has said about our folks. They were very gentle people and treated us pretty good, probably better than we did treated them, I suppose. But I think the one of the things that sticks in my mind about my folks was how often they moved from place to place. I start remembering time down at White Rock, South Dakota. And from that point on, until I went into service, they moved 8 times. And I'm sure, Manly, they had moved a few times before that, before White Rock. So they were real movers. And one of the things that's I recall about my dad is that he loved to farm. And when we were living in White Rock, he was working in an implement for our mom's brother for a while, and then he started the Texaco gas station there in town. Wish we still had that. We got gas for 20 cents a gallon then. And of course, he still wanted to go out on the farm, so we had an opportunity to move out to a farm that was a half a mile west of White Rock. And you know what that bugger did? He traded our house in town for a team of horses so he could go farming. I've always thought that was the funniest thing in the world. That shows you how much he wanted to farm. So, Natalie, have you got any memories then? Or is your memory gone?
I can't remember what I done this morning. I should have spoke before Donnie, because he stole my line. I was going to tell him too about owning this beautiful home in White Rock there. And like Dad wanted to go farming, but he didn't trade it for a team of horses. He got a team of mules and a horse. And a couple of pieces of old machinery. And boy, was he happy to get back out of town and back on the farm again. And I'll tell you, that team of mules he had, that was his pride and joy. And I would get mad at them, and they wouldn't mind me one bit. And he'd talk to them just like he's talked to us kids, and they knew him like a book. And they,
Do you remember their names?
Katie and Maud.
Katie
That's
and-
right. Katie and Maud.
And the horse was Peggy.
Peggy
Yeah.
and Babe.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow, good
yeah.
memory.
She had a colt.
But
We named it Babe.
what I remember about, I was telling you about Dad with this team of mules. And in the wintertime, we had moved out on my grandpa's farm, about 2 or 3 miles out of town. And the snow would always be real bad, and snowplow didn't go by very often. And also, Dad would take his mules, he'd take a load of corn into town to sell so he could buy some groceries. He got $5 for that load of corn that he hauled in. And he'd go to his brother's grocery store in White Rock, and with that $5, he bought groceries that lasted a week. About the same as now, right?
Ramen noodles.
Like I say, our folks, they had a lot of patience, and they lived a rough life. But we had a happy home. We were real happy that they lived, and we enjoyed every bit of it. Christmas time, we'd probably get one toy, and we were thankful to get one toy.
I still have my 39-cent book.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Did you ever get furnished?
I had a little tractor, little toy tractor too, that I was going to save the rest of my life, but we lived in town there in Morrison. One of the neighborhood's kids got it, so I lost my tractor. That's about it. But we did have some wonderful folks.
But Manly's happiest time in the day was when he was Saturdays, when he got done with work, then he always got the battery charged up so he could listen to the hit parade on Saturday night. So during the day on Saturday when I was trying to help Grandma clean or something, I didn't dare to turn that radio on because I'd wear the battery down. That's so good. I tell you, I grew up with 3 brothers because Amy
When
was
those
older.
batteries went dead on the radio, it sat silent for 2 months. We could only buy one set of batteries a year. If they went dead, well, we had to wait till the end of the time was up to get some more new batteries.
Oh, I'm glad those days have changed.
In case you'd like to see what our mom and dad and your grandparents, some of you, looked like the day they got married, I have a picture here of it. I'll pass it around. And I'd also like to say, thank you all for coming. It's just the greatest day in our lives, I think, and we love you all.
We love to.
We have questions for them.
Okay, questions for the speakers up here. Go ahead.
The panel.
Panel, yes. The Anderson panel.
Well, we just want to know, did Grandma and Grandpa ever spank you or punish you, or were we all so perfect?
I don't remember ever getting
Also
scolded or
perfect, huh?
spanking.
Never spanked?
Use the microphone, please. We can't hear
Okay,
you.
we'll give it back to her.
Talk into the end of it.
Right into the end of it there.
I don't remember us ever being spanked or scolded, like even some of the things we did, which we thought in those days was naughty, which is nothing compared to what's going on nowadays, I think, but no, we never got. Well, I do remember Donnie and Chilo, him and his pal Norman was his name, but it was always me and Normie. We went to country school and we couldn't get outside to play one particular day, so Donnie and Normie found some kind of a broom handler stick in this old basement in this country school, and they started doing a war dance, I think, thump, 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 you know, on the wall. And the teacher came down and got him, but I don't remember. Don, were you ever punished for that?
Conveniently.
We didn't do really bad things, and I can think of anything else. We got punished.
But you heard Millie say that her and Donnie did do bad things, for I didn't do anything.
Yes, I guess
No
we
need
did.
for them to
I
spank
guess
me.
so, the thrashing and and the stuff, I guess we did a little bit, but it wasn't bad.
I can remember talking about how our parents treated us. I ran away from home one day. I went all the way into White Rock, 3 miles away. Spent the day there, told my friends in town there that I had ran away from home. But of course then, pretty soon night started to come on. Well, of course, what did I do? I went back home. And I went up in the haymow of our barn, and that's where I slept all night. Next morning when Dad came up to feed the cows and the horses, of course he found me sleeping up in the haymow. Well, all that happened to me was he brought me in and Mom gave me breakfast.
So they don't even look for you during the night?
No.
And maybe that says something. Yeah. They didn't even miss it. I was going to say one more left.
Don, how old were you?
Oh, heavens. I probably, let me think here about that one a little bit, but I suppose
21.
I was probably 4th or 5th grade, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
24.
I was 30 at the time. I was in 4th grade.
No wonder they didn't look for you.
But you know, there's not too many parents who would take that lightly, right?
You know, we've always kind of wondered about this guy called my brother Don.
A little closer to the
We're not-
microphone then, Randy.
We're not so sure he's our brother. He's the only one that was ever born in a hospital. The rest of us were always born at home. So we're not sure. They probably got the wrong date.
They're pretty lucky that somebody good come along, right?
I say we do DNA. Yeah, I remember the day when my youngest brother Kenny, who is not here today again, was born. And at the time I had a little wooden, like a little bike, you know, with the little foot pedals, and nobody was paying attention to me because the baby was being born in the house, you know. There were a couple of my cousins there, I guess, staying with my mom, so I decided, heck, I can take off. So I got on my little pedal car, where you called, and went down to, that's where Uncle Henry had a store in White Rock, and of course I knew I would get treats and candy there, but when I got down there, then I kind of found out that I shouldn't have been there. And Mr. Hovern, the guy that had the lumber yard at that time, I remember his name, he picked me up and carried me home, and so I made it again without any punishment. I got reward, I got a bag candy.
More questions?
Yeah.
Keep the questions coming.
You had a little yellow dog on the farm out in White Rock there. Do you remember what the name of that dog was?
Yes, I do. Nellie.
Yes, and I remember that too because depending on which grandmas and grandpas we were going to, whether it was my dad's or my mother's, it was always Nellie's grandma or Pal's grandpa, because that was the name of the other dog on the other farm. Right.
Did you also remember that she would run like crazy and only had 3 legs?
I kind of,
Remember that?
yeah, I kind of remember that, yeah.
She could just go like crazy. She would run after a rabbit and catch it
Yeah.
with 3 legs and 1 hind leg missing.
Somebody else had a question down here, what is it?
Tell us what you remember about your grandparents.
About our grandparents.
About your grandparents.
Well, I
Yeah.
remember
Use the mic, Mom.
Well, of course, the ones were the Larsons, you know, that lived on a farm. I guess I can especially remember Grandma Larson. You never ever came to that house and didn't get a big meal. Every time you came there, you couldn't leave there without having, and she could come up with the best big meal you ever saw. Just like nobody invited anybody to a place in those days. You just showed up. You just went there. That's the way, you know. And how they could come up with something like that was just unreal.
Well, that's what we
Then
got from our grandma.
on the other side, of course, there was my dad's dad and grandma. I never knew my real grandma on that side because she died before I was around. But he married again, and we knew this grandma first, his second wife. And she was a very loving and caring person. We always felt welcome there. The Grandpa Anderson on that side was not that kind of a fellow. And he was very cool to us. He didn't show any emotion, didn't you know, he didn't pick up his grandkids and have them sit on their knee or anything like that. I remember him as being, he kind of ignored us. That was kind of his attitude. And I guess I still remember that. So care for your grandkids.
Somebody will be sitting around reminiscing about you someday.
Yeah, I'll probably get the same comment.
We doubt that, though. Yeah, we doubt that.
And thrashing days or laundry days wasn't very easy for those ladies then too. I remember Amy, my sister, coming out with Gary and Danny to wash clothes, and that old washing machine would be chugging away all day, that old wringer washer, to get dry stuff in the house or wherever you could on the clothesline. And it was lots of different kids than it is nowadays, I'll tell you that. But I had lots of good memories, lots and lots of good memories. So.
Yeah, when we go out to visit Grandpa and Grandma Larson, their oldest son was still living at home with them. He was an old bachelor, he never got married. And we used to just go out there, listen to him, and the stories he was telling us, they were really interesting. But now that we think about some of the things he said, I don't think there was a damn one that was true. Uncle Oscar. It was an entertaining person. What?
Uncle Oscar liked his beer. He's the
Yeah,
first one
he
I ever
liked-
had a taste of beer from.
He drank beer before we did. He taught us how.
Hear that? Millie said the first one she ever had a taste of
First
beer
taste I
from.
ever had of beer was from my Uncle Oscar.
But,
And I don't drink
Donnie
it
was
now.
telling about the good food that we had at Grandma's, you know, and I was out there picking corn for him because I only had a corn picking machine, and she sent out lunch. She sent out lunch, she would have fed 10 people, I think. And that was a couple hours later, I had to go and eat noon meal with him. There was a big smorgasbord on the table. Oh, you eat now, you eat, you reckon you eat real good? God, I was so stuffed I couldn't really eat. At about 3 in the afternoon, here they'd come out with another dose to get another load of corn. Here's another big pack of lunch, and he threw it out and Grandma to fix up for me.
That sounds like Grandma.
That's the way she was. She liked her grandkids like we like ours. More questions?
More questions? Who would you like to know?
What's the square root of 6,042?
You're at the wrong reunion.
That was for
Is that
Don.
why you flunked school?
Well, something else I just thought of.
No, I know the answer.
In those days, the only thing we had entertainment Saturday night was go down to White Rock and sit outdoors and watch a movie. And I tell you, that was really something.
Silent movie.
Yeah.
Really?
And we'd get an ice cream cone. If we had been good during the week, we had our choice of a popsicle or something else, candy bar or something. Grandpa would give us each a nickel, and we had an awful time deciding what we were going to buy with that nickel. I can remember down that little cafe. So once in a while, White Rock had that old hall that they used to have some music once in a while, dance for some special occasion. So they did have some entertainment once in a while.
Did Grandma and Grandpa ever go out and leave you kids with the babysitter?
No.
Nope, never heard of babysitters.
But I mean, but what I'm saying though is, did they just go out for enjoyment, the two of them, or their work ethic was so strong that
I don't think went to church and all that stuff together.
That was their
annual
social
meetings,
time.
That was their social life. Yeah, annual meetings. And Grandpa was the superintendent of Sunday school for years. I remember when I was between 2 and 3 years old, I used to just beg him to take me to Sunday school on Sunday mornings. But they had time for the good things.
We went with them.
yeah, visiting was their social
Yeah.
time.
You think about how the families today go out to eat. We never did that. Never.
Well, later on in years, I remember but that's when we had a better car and everything. Too. We used to go to Fergus Falls once in a while. We had aunties living, and we used to go in and get a hot beef commercial dinner. And that was our treat. Oh, we were just in seventh heaven when we got that, and go visiting aunts and uncles. Yeah.
It's hard to find better food than Grandma Anderson's cooking, though. Just, if you remember her dinner rolls.
Rye bread.
Dinner rolls, yes, the rye bread.
Dinner
Yeah.
rolls and the
Billy's hot dish.
And brownies.
So I'm a pretty good doctor too, though, aren't I, for fixing up sprains and stuff? Which one of the kids was that again?
she never
Was
said
that Bill? That was Bill, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, he wrapped my broken leg with a wash rag.
Yeah.
Wasn't that your house, Bill broke his
Yeah,
leg?
Doug Madison, that was
Right.
it.
We were watching Lulu,
Yeah,
and we couldn't leave until Lulu was over. So they were out playing, and because Lulu was on, Bill broke his leg. It was a Lulu too.
It's always fun to go to Grandma and Grandpa's over.
Had one more question there.
One more question.
One more question?
One more question. I had heard a story through my mom that there was a time when Grandma Anderson, your mother, went to church without a dress on. Did you hear about that story, or have you heard that one? Or
I thought I heard something about that one.
it was yeah. Let me use the mic a minute. Yeah, the story I hear through my mom, and this is some time ago, that when my Grandma Anderson, Mabel, was busy getting all of these kids ready for church, that it was kind of in the wintertime, and she had gotten everybody ready and hustle bustle, and everybody was in the I don't know if it was the Model A at that time, or however you got to a church, and so she threw her coat on and went out and into the car, and when she got to church, she opened up her coat and she just had her slip on. She had forgot to put her dress on, and so a rather embarrassing time, but she made it through the service, I guess, with just her coat on.
Well, God doesn't care what you wear as long as you're there.
That's
9 months later, Millie was born.
Oh dear.
I don't know, any cousins have any interesting stories? One I remember the most was the croquet mallet story back in the back room at Morris, or the backyard, when I took a swing like a golf club at the croquet ball. All of a sudden the stick got really light and the head sailed through both windows in the house and into the basement, throwing glass all over the kitchen at the same time, and fortunately no one was standing there. And I know the next time, I didn't get in trouble with croquet mallets, the sticks. So Grandpa did take care of the problem, so I was grateful for that one. Put it on here, Tom?
Yeah, that's no problem. So that's what we did. We colored all over that floor down there. But they didn't bet. They smiled and laughed. So they were.
Grandpa thought it was funny.
Yeah. I never saw Grandpa with a cross face. Never. Playing tiddlywinks or Chinese checkers on his little gold stool, you know. It's like 100 times. So.
Tiddlywinks was that little black bowl, that black bowl, and those
Yeah.
red buttons.
Yep.
Never beat him.
Never beat it.
Yeah. Watch him put his teeth in the morning.
Yeah.
We gotta
Yeah,
get
there we go.
Shave
There we go.
Shave and put his teeth.
Yeah, put his teeth in and watch that. That was pretty good. A lot of memories there, so. No, that was.
If you want to know where that Tiddlywinks thing is, Steve Trost took it when we was getting ready for our sale. We still had them.
Weren't those like war? They were like war tokens or something, weren't they? Those
Yeah,
little
they
red
were-
things that were in there.
They
They
were
weren't.
little teeny, and our grandkids used to use them for money and play money. But they were really Tiddlywinks. Steve Trost got them when he was going through stuff. He got the marbles too that used to be around.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where's that wooden, that big wooden?
We got it.
Board game?
Board game.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting for Christmas.
Mary else got that in a grab bag.
And of course, well, when she was married, I was a young little squirt. I think I was like about 4 or 5 years old, so I don't really remember, growing up with a sister, but see what I had instead? One of those is missing, Kenny, but that was what I took, and boy, they used to razz me a lot. You go to country school, and there was these all country kids, and they all looked kind of, and there used to be one boy they used to tease me about. Oh, they loved to tease me, and I'd get so mad, and I'd run around the dining room table, and the boys right after me, Grandma would say, now you boys have to leave her alone. You don't have to tease her about that. George Bowman. Yeah. But I grew up out of it. I guess it doesn't bother me anymore.
You probably know Amy, my mom, our mom, turned 90 on the 12th of June. And I got in on that celebration, and I know Don and Norma were there, and Manly and Rosie, and Patty was over there. So we had a few of us there on the actual day, and then we're going to have a party for her tomorrow over at her assisted living place north of Benson on Highway 29 there. And if you can't make it over there, I know she really likes to get mail and cards and that kind of thing, so I'm sure we can get your address if you'd send her a card. I know she'd really appreciate it. She still was paralyzed by a stroke a few years ago, so she still can't talk and can't move really, get a word out once in a while, but her mind is fine, and she loves to read and get those letters and things, so I know she'd appreciate it. What is it, 2 to 3:30?
Yep.
2 to 3:30. 2 o'clock we'll start, and go till people are gone. Cake, coffee, and the whole works, yes. Yeah, free, no charge. No, we won't be passing the plate or anything.
So she reads her, like I sent her a birthday card, does she read it herself? Can somebody open it and read it to her?
No, she'd read it herself. Yep, she reads them. She does some reading. Yep.
And so does everybody else that comes through there.
Yeah. And don't forget to sign the guest book. If you don't sign the guest book, you don't leave. Yeah.
I just think that since Grandma and Grandpa, of course, aren't here, I know they're looking down on us, but maybe before we shut the mic off, I think it would be, Grandma and Grandpa didn't drink other than lemonade and those kinds of things, but if you have a glass, maybe we can just, in their memory, I think it would be most appropriate to toast those two wonderful people, because we all have our own memories, and, those never go away. So maybe just raise a glass or a good thought, and here's to Grandma and Grandpa Anderson. So,
All right.
Cheers.